as we go through the weekend and as we go through this class in particular, I don't want you to be comparing yourself to other people. Work on yourself.
I use Throom targets on the range for all the benefits of steel with none of the drawbacks. They're made in the USA too. Pick up a set to make your shooting more fun and effective.
You know your time. You know you were 1.2 or 1.3 and you're trying to beat that 1.3. Women generally compare ourselves to other people. So if that's you, really focus on yourself and focus on improving yourself. And don't worry if you've got Brandon standing next to you and he's got a 0.7 second draw. You and your 3-second draw don't need to worry about that. You worry about improving yourself. So really focus on that. And then as we go through the class, I want you to think about 3 questions. What am I good at right now? What could I be better at? And then how do I get to that end point? So again, a wealth of information here, wealth of resources. We have people on other ranges. If you have a question about how to get better, like you want to improve your draw to first shot, sit down and have a conversation with these people at lunch. Ask them. This is the perfect opportunity to make those connections and get those tips on getting better and improving whatever your issue is. Maybe you just want to get comfortable drawing from a holster. Well, how do I get there? Have a conversation, ask some people, because this is the most amazing opportunity. Normally you're with one person the entire day or the entire weekend. You've got, I don't know how many instructors do we have, like 20 at least?
Something like that.
There was a lot in the room this morning, that's all I'm gonna say. And they all are, like Mike said, they're all world-class people. So if you can't walk away from this weekend having learned something or having gotten information, then that's on you, right? So go have lunch with people, go have dinner, make those conversations. Don't be afraid to ask them questions, because that's really what they're here for. So let's talk about safety. So basically we have 3 rules that we're going to focus on while we're here. Always keep the gun pointed in the direction of least consequence. So you may have heard that phrased as a safe direction. What would be a safe direction here under the tent? Downrange. What does downrange mean?
You tell us.
Huh? Yeah, well, actually our targets aren't up. That's a good question. If those were targets and they were up, yeah, so towards the targets. So we have a lot of jargon in the gun industry, so if you haven't been in a class, downrange is towards the targets, yeah? So a safe direction is going to be in this way, in this way. So the second one is always keep your finger high and in register until you've made the decision to shoot. So I've got this little plastic gun here, if you can see, high and in register. So up on the slide itself. And the reason that we do that is because, excuse me, while I reholster, the reason that we do that is your body's natural reaction when you get nervous or scared or something's happening is to make a fist. Our hands are a natural claw. So if we're sort of hovering over that trigger and we get that jump or that nerve, we're more likely to press the trigger than we would if it was straight and high and in register. So once you've made the decision to shoot and your sights are on target, then you can start moving that finger towards the trigger. And then the last one that we're going to focus on today is always keep the gun unloaded until it's in use. So every time we come up to the range, or up to the targets here, we're going to load the guns. When we come off the range or before we come off the range, we're going to unload and show clear, which basically means you're going to unload and then someone's going to verify that your gun is actually clear so you can put it back in your holster or back in the bag, however we're going to do. At the end of the day, we're going to clear the guns all together. But if your gun is in a bag, make sure that it's unloaded. If it's on your person, it's in use, right? It's in use, you're getting ready to use it. If in the context of concealed carry, the gun is in use. I'm ready to use the gun. But if I'm storing a gun in a bag, not really ready to use, think about a hunting rifle. You wouldn't just keep that loaded all the time. You're gonna load it up when you're ready to use it. Make sense? So finger high and in register, guns pointed in a safe direction and unloaded until ready to use. So the big picture truly is that you're dealing with a firearm. A firearm can be very dangerous if you use it negligently. So I'm asking that you follow these rules so that we don't have to use our communications or have a ceasefire and do those sorts of things. So firearm safety really is very simple, but you have to be diligent about it. All right. So some gun etiquette, kind of going along with what Chris was saying. If you need to step off the line, let somebody know so we don't look up and go, oh, where's Patty? Patty's gone. You know, let somebody know. If you need to leave, that's cool. Just let us know so we're aware that you've left intentionally, right? Before you leave the line, we're going to clear the guns. So when we say unload and show clear, that basically means we're going to take the magazine out of the gun, unload it, lock the slide to the rear, and then either one of the AIs or your neighbor next to you needs to look in the gun also and verify that it's actually clear. And then they'll tell you to put the slide forward, back in the holster, and then before you leave the line, is everyone clear? If we say, is everyone clear, just hands up so that we know your gun is actually clear and that someone has checked your firearm. And then once we do that, you'll be allowed to pick up anything you've dropped, because we don't want to pick up, like if you drop a magazine or something like that, you don't want to bend over and pick that up while people are firing on the line, because that could cause, that could be dangerous. So he asked if you have to have the slide locked back to the rear in your holster. No, you can put the slide forward and then in your holster, just like you normally would. Yeah, great question. So again, if you drop anything, wait till we give the all clear to pick it up. It is wet out here, so if you drop your gun, in the words of Elsa in Frozen, let it go. Because treat it like a knife. Would you drop a knife and try to catch it? Because you're probably going to catch it by the blade, right? So with a gun, treat that the same way. If I'm not going to try and catch a knife, don't try to catch a gun. Just let it go. They're made to be drop safe. They're most likely going to fall with the grip down because that's the heaviest part. And if you try to catch it, remember our hands are that claw, and it's more than likely to get in that trigger and end up hurting you because you don't know what direction it's pointed in. So just let it go if you need to.